Welcome to Backpass with Ras, and this is your host Ras, bringing to you a brand new episode. I hope you are well, hale and hearty wherever you are listening and watching this episode. So, on this episode, I've got a couple of interesting guys. They were former national team managers. So by that, I do not mean in the English sense that they are team managers. As in the English sense, the team manager will be someone like Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger and so on and so forth. But in the Singapore context, they will explain what the role of a team manager entails. But let me introduce this guy to you. First of all, we've got Aizat Ramli. How are you doing, Aizat?
Good. Nice to know.
What happened?
Yeah, man.
Aizat?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now I can hear you.
All right.
Earlier you
Good,
went suddenly for a moment.
Sorry. Good. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Okay, and alongside him, we've got Farehan Hussein. How are you doing, Farehan?
Thank you. Thank you, guys, and Aizat.
All right.
I'm doing good.
You're doing good. All right.
Yeah.
And I can see you're in a very cozy environment speaking to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope the both of you have a good time speaking to us and go down memory lane.
Mhm.
So if you're not aware, this show, we're actually the connoisseurs of football in the 90s and the noughties. So we'll start there first of all, and we'll go back to your earliest memory of watching football either on TV or in the stadium. And it does appear that you guys, the both of you, are my peers. So we could probably have memories that are pretty similar. So let's go with Aizat first. What's your earliest memory?
I think on screen it has to be United lah. I think this was back in 90 when I think it was lower primary. I think it was 94. 94, 95, and the player that stood out for me was definitely was the king, Eric Cantona,
Mm-hmm.
So I remember watching United back then, but my dad wasn't. He wasn't anything but United fan lah. So he supported 19 teams but United. But I was surrounded by uncles who were quite. I mean, they molded my interest in United.
Okay.
So I think it was more of my mom's side, my mom's brothers who were my uncles who were really instilled that red devil in me lah. So I think on screen I remember that. I remember the FA Cup final in '96 against Liverpool. Where Cantona scored. I think the 84th, 86th minute. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And I think in at the stadium it was those Malaysia Cup days lah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Merdeka Stadium, Singapore versus Kedah.
Okay.
I think it was 93, and then obviously, and of course the 94 one lah.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think, Shah Alam 94, the 4-0 against Pahang. So those were my earliest memories of football lah. And
You traveled to Merdeka Stadium and Shah Alam for the finals.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
And
So
did you
it
watch
was
any games here?
yes, I did. But the ones that really etched in my memory were the cars early morning at the customs, heading up Malaysia, those big convoys. Because I remember my family driving up in a couple of cars. Like early morning, like wee hours, like 5, 6 a.m. We already, met at the customs and then we drove up. That really etched into my memory lah.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, 1994 was the World Cup final.
Yes.
Italy, Brazil. That made me an Italian fan lah. I mean, national team wise lah. Yeah.
All right. Farehan, yourself?
Okay. For me, my first introduction to football was, of course, by my dad, who brought me to the National Stadium in the 1990. Back then, I think 1990, I was I was 7 years old. I was primary one. I remembered our team, Singapore team back then was I think Abbasan and Alistair Edwards was there in 1990. Then of course they went on to the Malaysia Cup final where they lost to Kedah
Mm.
in 2-1. I remember I saw it on TV. Then after that, in 1991, in 1992, it became a very weekly affair for our family. It's a reunion for at least about 3 or 4 families. Every Saturday, we will go down to the National Stadium in Kallang. I remember my aunties were trying to get tickets. Back then, tickets for children was at $1, adult was at $3. I think grandstand was at $7.
Right.
So it was a weekly family reunion. I think football was the entertainment for most Singaporeans back then. So it really was, it got into the core memories for me. For English football, I would say I'm a United fan since I would say in 1994. In
Okay.
1994, because I think back then United have a very iconic jersey. That 1994 with the Old Trafford printed right on that
Oh,
jersey.
okay, yeah.
Then of
94,
course, like
95. Yes.
94, 95. Then of course, Aizat mentioned King Cantona was there, but Beckham was his debut season. Then I remember back then people talking about United has a lot of youngsters. All this, your Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs. So I've been a United fan all the way till now. I mean, we had a very good. No one dares to bully us when we were in school because we are always winning, right? So in terms of these people, the scouters especially, they're not taking their turns to bully us at this age, but it's okay. At least we know in our school days, no one dare to bully us. We walk like a king every time, right? So I would say that football has been with me. I think like I echo what Aizat said. I mean, in the 90s, you can see after every game, we will rush to buy the newspaper. We are
Mm.
there. We are there at the newsstands by 12:30,
12. Yeah.
12:45. By
Yes.
12, we are waiting to ensure that we get the first few copies of the papers. So
Yeah.
everyone was waiting. So and it's lovely that today I think me and Aizat, we in a way that we had the opportunities to be friends with some of these football idols that we grow up idolizing them, and also to be seated. I would say to be one of the front seat managing the national football team. So it is like something that we have been looking for when we were in our younger days, lah.
Mm. And your first World Cup?
My first World Cup, of course, 94. I watched the 94 World Cup because it was in US. So I remember games were as early at about 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched the final, the Brazil and Italy. I clearly remembered Roberto Baggio missed that penalty. They say the dead man standing, right? That's the quote that they used. But I wasn't a fan of any team back then because I turned out to be an England fan. Right? Isaac was shake his head. Football almost came home the last time. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask the both of you as well.
Yeah.
What's your favorite World Cup?
I would say, if you ask me, the 2002 World Cup in China and Korea. But I would say the
Japan,
World Cup.
Korea.
Japan and Korea. Japan and Korea. Yeah. Japan and Korea. Why? I think because we were watching 3 games from 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 7 p.m.
Yes.
3 games in a row. And
we didn't
of
have
course,
to lose sleep.
Yeah, we didn't have to lose sleep. Yeah. And it was nice to see an Asian country hosting the World Cups, right? For that. And of course, Qatar World Cup, the last World Cup in Qatar, I mean, it was nice. I wish I could have been there, but if you ask me closely, I think the World Cup, the Korea and Japan one, Super World Cup. Yeah.
Aizat, your favorite World Cup?
Mine obviously has to be the 2006
Italy
one.
with
So I can safely say that in my lifetime, at least I will I've seen the Italians win the World Cup. I always tell this to Farehan and those who support England that you will never see it in your lifetime. The last time you will see was in 1966. We were all not born yet, The 2002 World Cup was one of the worst World Cups for an Italian fan. Ras, I don't know. I know you're an Italian fan like me, but I don't know whether you remember what happened in the 2002 World Cup or not.
Yeah, of course. Korea went all the way,
Korea went all the way. I think when An Jun Hwan headed the goal over Maldini.
Well, 2002, I remember it fondly for the reasons Farehan stated. You can watch all the matches. And what I remember very fondly as well was there was a lot of shocks. and surprises. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, some of the shocks and surprises involve Italy, which
Yeah.
is not a pleasant memory. And there was some dubiousness in some of the games, especially the one involving Italy and Korea.
Yeah.
So that was
And
not a
also
good
Spain, yeah.
memory.
Because
What
I
Yeah,
remember I
Spain and
remember
Korea, I
the
remember that one also.
yeah the ball that didn't cross the line, they
Yeah,
say cross the line, yeah. And
shocking, I remember.
Senegal upset France in the opening
France.
game,
Yeah,
right?
that was
one
fun.
zero?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
one
fun.
zero. And that
Yeah,
was when
yeah,
Liverpool decided to snatch El Hadji Diouf
Mm.
after
yeah.
that World Cup.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, not only El Hadji Diouf, they bought Salif Diao as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Salif
that will be
Dia.
out,
From
correct.
Liverpool,
Then there
from
were
Senegal.
the late Papa Bouba Diop was also playing in the English league after.
Mm.
Yeah, correct. For me, 94 would be, even though I'm an Italy fan, I rate 94 higher than 2006, despite the heartbreak.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, because maybe there's a bit of romanticism around 94. It's always, your first World Cup
Mm.
is always special. It's like your
Mm.
first love. So that's why for me, 94.
I
Uh,
think 94, I remember Sweden were doing, they did well. Sweden.
yes, very well.
Thomas Brolin, Kenneth Anderson. Oh, I can still remember some of these names.
Martin
Right?
Dahlin.
Yeah. Martin Dahlin. Yeah. Oh, I think Sweden
Very
was
young
like, wow,
Henrik
up and
Larsson with
coming.
the dreadlocks.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean,
they came close
Ronaldo
to.
played the '94 World Cup, or was he
he
on the
was on
bench?
the
He was
bench.
17 years old.
He was on the bench. He was on the bench, Ronaldo.
Mm.
Yeah, Ronaldo was on the bench. Yeah, he didn't play. I don't think he played a single minute
Yeah.
in that World Cup, but he was on the bench. So he was in
But
theory a World Cup winner.
That was Romario, Dunga, and all that, right?
Yeah,
and
Romario and
Bebeto.
Bebeto.
Bebeto, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Bebeto
my
and
dad. My dad is a Brazil fan. He
okay.
kept telling me, Brazil is good. But I never want to support Brazil. Last time when your father say go and support this team, you're always trying to be on the opposite side. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, a bit different. I'm a United fan, but much earlier than you guys. Because I started in '91.
Mhm.
And my
Mhm.
father at that point in time pushed me towards United because he said there was a player called Lee Sharp, and he said
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee Sharp looked like me, and I was like thinking, no, not really. I watched United for Lee Sharp, and then I became a fan, and of course then later
Mm.
on Cantona and all that, all the glory years. So
Now that you mention it, Ras, maybe you look to the left a bit. Probably you look a bit like Lee Sharp last time.
there are people talking on this topic about resemblance. There are people who said that I do look like Abbasan. I've had that before. There was doing a event, and this
Mhm.
guy just came up to me and said, "Hey, you look like Abbasan." Then I'm like, "Huh, really?" That's the first time someone mentioned to me. Then another guy who was he used to be a photographer. He mentioned that to me as well. Then he matched the pictures, my old picture from my
Mm.
childhood and Abbas's picture when he was in the 90s. And then I saw the resemblance. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, there is. Of course, like this, no. But at that point in time, when I was a bit younger, there was some resemblance. So,
Now maybe if you shave your head,
yeah. Well, it was good days, in fact, I would say.
yeah.
Any other memories of the 90s besides English football?
No, I think English football was the most consumed league at that point in time, or easily consumed league at that point in time. I don't remember really watching any other league besides the obviously our own league, and also the one involving the English teams. I don't know about Farehan.
I think for me, the early 90s. The early 90s was more of the Singapore football team. In
Mm,
91, 92, your Warren Spink, your Craig Foster was there. Then, of
yeah.
course, the 94 final. Then, once we exited the Malaysia Cup in 94, I think the attention changed more towards the English League. Because I think United only started winning more in the 94 onwards, is it? 94, 95. Then,
Yeah.
of course, to me, I still remember clearly the start of the S League in 1996.
Hmm.
I was a Woolens Wellington fan. I
Okay.
still say I'm still a Woolens Wellington fan because I
You grew
remember
up there?
clearly. I don't know. I was in Pasir Ris, but
Okay.
I love Woolens Wellington not because of because in 1996, the Malaysian League, they had the foreigners ban. I remember they had foreign ban. And I always love Yan Yanostap. Yan Yanostap
Okay.
from Kedah, he came over to Woodlands. And Joe Kaleta from Perak came over. And then with Irvin Boban from
Yeah.
Johor, he was there. Then of course Sundram was there, Esrando Rado was there. So most of my boyhood idol turned up for Woodlands, and I find that they were a very strong team, which indeed they were quite strong during the start of the season. And I would say the S League 1996 was one that started with what we needed. Even clubs like Palestine, they had Paulik Goran, Marco Krajevic. These were names from Kelantan, you know. Then they signed the Telenapla from Negeri Sembilan. So I can still remember all these names. Billy Bone from Sarawak came over to Sembawang Rangers.
Yeah.
So then I can see that, okay, the start of S League 96, catch our attention, 96, 97, 98. Promises to be one of the top 10 Asia's best league. The Thai superstars, Tawan Sipan were all coming and playing in the league. So these were the memories of the football they have for Singapore's. But when we start turning to the millennium year 2000, that's where the real challenge started, because there were a lot of emphasis on English football. Coming to the late 90s and the early 2000s, they were broadcasting about English football everywhere. So that in turn take a bit of attention away from local football. I think that people give more attention to the English football. Thus, you can see the declining of local football during that time.
Yeah. That change, I think, came about from the advent of broadcasts.
Yes. Yeah.
More English Premier League matches on TV through SCV in those days, Singapore Cable Vision, then Simple TV and StarHub and all. They had the rights, and then they showed the games, and we could watch almost every game in those days. It came from a point where I remember in the early 90s, we could hardly even watch a game. I had to watch it on TV Tiga, and those days also you couldn't choose to watch the game. Whatever they showed live, that's all you could watch. One game a week. Yeah, and then we had to rely on the highlight show, which was a week late, and teletext, and of course the newspaper
for the teletext for the results.
Yeah, for the result, for the latest news, the newspaper as well. So those were the early days of the early 90s. And also I want to point out about Serie A as well. That was the best league in the world at that point in time.
Yeah.
We had the highlights as well on TV, and that's how I'm also a Serie A fan from those days when I was watching the highlights. A quick check as well, your favorite players, your all-time favorite player, Farehan.
My all-time favorite player, I would say David Beckham.
Okay.
David Beckham, I think for all the obvious reasons, I think David Beckham. I mean, if I ever want to be the player today, it's David Beckham. I mean, I've met the others like Giggs, Neville, Scholes, but I've yet to beat Beckham. See. Right.
Okay. Yourself, Aizat? Is it the same as me?
I don't. Mine is quite obvious, lah. Mine, because I don't think he was the best at that era. I think he was probably top 10 lah. But I think when you talk about favorite players, it's one that really made an impact on me. You know, a few players really made an impact. I remember watching the late Borhan Abu Sama.
Okay.
I mean, locally, he also was quite a player that, it stood out lah. So the late Borhan was one. Cantona, probably Maldini is another one. For obvious reasons also lah. To me, he's the best defender that ever lived lah. or one that I've seen lah, during my lifetime. Yeah.
Okay. That's different. I was thinking your favorite player would also be Baggio, like me.
Maybe up there also.
Okay. All right, let's move on now from the 90s. Let's go to your start of your journey with FAS.
I I start
Let's
first.
with Farehan and all. When do you start? How did it start? What role
I
do you
think
play?
I start first because I started slightly earlier than Farihan lah. Then Farihan can come
Okay.
in nicely.
Of
Okay.
So
course.
I think I started. Well, I pardon me if I get my dates wrong. I think I started late 2010. But when I joined FAS, it was very much it was a different capacity. It was for the role of corporate communications officer slash
Okay.
media officer. So I was doing a bit of cop comms for FAS. So um, this included media related stuff for FAS like speeches, FAQs, talking points for the GenSec, the president, doing press releases, press kits, press conferences, media training for players and stuff like that. But I think moving into 2012, there was a manager back then called Asad. Farihan, I don't know whether you
Yeah.
remember Asad. I
Yeah.
think he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
taking
Remember.
Young Lions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So I
remember.
think he left a vacant spot. So that's where I filled in. But because being the media officer for FAS, I was already quite familiar with the players, so I ease in lah, to that position. And then we also had a colleague by the name of Azrul, who was the national team manager at the point in time. He also left, and then there was some interviews. I went for the interview, and that's how I became the national team manager. I think from late 2012, 2013 onwards, all the way up to when I left FAS. I think towards the end of 2015. That's how I started in the FAS.
Okay. Was that your first job?
That was my first job. If you
Oh,
don't count working at Pizza Hut while waiting for my results, yes, that was my first job.
so you
Yeah,
you
that was just
graduated
after I finished my degree.
after you finish your degree.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Mm.
nice. Yourself, Arian?
Okay. So for me, I started out my career as a school teacher.
Ah,
So I was a cikgu. Okay. So I was
uh,
cikgu from after I left army from 2009 all the way until 2013. So uh, then I was involved in my school soccer team. So I remember Coach Bala. He was looking after my school, and he was also back then the assistant coach for the LionsXII under Sundram. That was in 2012. So he was telling me that, hey, look, there is an opening in FAS as an administrator. So you can you see whether you are keen to join. So I sent in my application. After 4 years of teaching, I was interviewed by then the team manager Azrul. So they decided to bring me on as an administrator as a supporting role to all the existing team managers, to Azrul, I think to Aizat and to Visakan as well. So I joined FA in July 2013. And after a while, somewhere 2014, 2015, we started rotating the roles. Eventually, when Visakan went up as a team manager for a while, so I took over the role of the LionsXII. I think Isaac went over to take the role of the Young Lions. So the team manager role was rotating until I think after Isaac left and after Visakan left. So I took a double role of both the national team and the LionsXII. That was towards the end of 2015, and I hold on to the role all the way national team manager all the way until 2017.
okay. And
Yeah,
that's your first. Oh yeah, you're saying you're a teacher. What
yeah.
what were you teaching in school?
Melayu, bahasa Melayu.
Malay, bahasa Melayu. Okay, very bagus. All right. So that's quite fascinating. So your period of
Yeah,
time interlap with
yeah,
each other.
yeah, yeah. Mm.
Aiza left earlier and you left later. So now
Mm-mm.
the big question I think for the listeners is who are not familiar, because when they hear many team manager, they would think,
Yeah,
as I mentioned earlier,
yeah,
start of the show, something like Sir Alex
yeah,
Ferguson, that kind of a
yeah,
manager. We all
yeah,
played championship manager. I guess you guys did as
yeah,
well back
Yeah.
in the day.
yeah.
So when you think of manager, we think that.
Mm.
What does the role of a national team manager entail?
Isaac, you want to answer or you want me to answer?
Okay. So the role of a team manager in our local context, or even the context of our neighboring countries, it is more of an administrative role. So you manage matters concerning the team off the pitch. So on the pitch, usually we leave it to the coaches. So the coaches they have a team of coaches, starting with the head coach. X number of assistant coaches. You have the backroom staff like the logistics officer, the physiotherapist, the sports masseuse, the goalkeeper coach. And then you also have the administrative side, which is the national team manager or the team manager. And then probably you will have, if you're lucky, you have a media officer following you as well. And then you have the team of players. So what we do is, in layman's term, our job scope is more of settling administrative stuff for the team that includes their kit, their attire, their traveling arrangements, their bonuses, their salaries, their allowances, their flight ticket details, insurances, anything off the pitch. I always say this: anything off the pitch is always up to the manager. On the pitch, the coach is a big boss. So it's slightly different. In fact, it's very different from the European context of a manager, where the manager calls the shots on the pitch. So for our local context, ours is more of supporting the technical stuff of the pitch.
Okay. So does this role then mean that you got to be near perfect?
Sorry.
Farehan, yeah.
Near perfect. Of course, I think there isn't much room for error, especially when you're entering a competition where you need to get your place accreditation, sign everything. Your registration must be there on point. Uh, I would say, like for example, the AFS Suzuki Cup, you go for the World Cup qualifiers, and like what Aiza say, anything off the field, you have to settle. Like for me, there were instances that the players can't come to training because they have some personal issues, and we also have to look into all these personal issues for them.
Okay.
There are some that the players' families will call us to say that, hey, can you ask the so and so players to please settle this thing? So it becomes more of our issue. We have to sit down because the coaches gave us very clear instruction. They said that, okay, fine, I want this particular player to attend my training, and we know that this particular player always have off the field issues, and we need to ensure that these things are taken care of. Especially during my time, there are sometimes that I have to manage players who are serving the national service. And I even have to go down to the camps to speak to some of the players, which I would say doesn't really follow the actual protocol procedures because if you want players to be who are in national service who wants to attend national team matches overseas, you have to write in we call it the FPUL, the full recorded leave that you have to go through the Sports SG. That Sports SG will manage the camp. But this procedure, the replies will usually take a bit longer. And coaches will say, they find this guy, I need this guy. Is he coming or not? If he's not coming, how's the preparation like? So we usually have to take one step ahead. We will meet all the camp officers. Then we tell them, look, we have already submitted a request for this particular player to be given to us on this day, on this day. Can you please help to take a look? And on the other side also, we always have to inform the players, look, please behave when you guys are in the camp so that it's easier for you all to get released for football. This is what people don't understand. It's not easy. And I will say that if I can share, there was one particular incident in which I wanted to fly Iksan Fandi to Qatar for a match before we flew off to Bahrain for a qualifiers game. We were supposed to leave on the Monday, and Iksan, his recorded leave only starts on Tuesday. So on Thursday, the week before, on Thursday, Friday, I met his camp officer, spoke to his camp officer. I said, look, can Iksan leave be granted? Then he said that he has no answers to it. He can only inform me on Monday. And Monday morning, we are flying off.
Wow.
And I was telling Iksan, okay, Ix, look, Monday you're on off. I say, Iksan say, yes, Monday I'm off. I say, Ix, why not you fly with us? Okay. If your leave is not approved, I will send you back. So he flew off with the team on Monday. Then meet into the flight. There was some Wi-Fi. I got a text from the sir say, okay, his leave is approved on Tuesday.
Oh, you took the risk.
Yeah, to the risk. I mean, these are the things that I think the team managers have to make a call.
Hmm.
And because coaches, we do as much as we want, we do not want to disrupt coaches' planning.
Okay.
If let's say okay, coach say, okay, this sorry, his son can't be around. Then the coach will say, now you need to call other players.
Hmm.
I mean, like I think like Aizat said, we need to manage coaches' expectation, and we are all doing this for the good of Singapore football. Nothing for our personal glory. It is all for the football of Singapore. So I would say there are a lot of challenges, but of course, when you see results eventually happen on the field, then you will know that it's a pat on the back for yourself sometimes, for taking the risk to get all these things done.
And are you guys the one doing the call-ups? Like when the head coach has named his squad,
Yeah.
are you the guys doing the call-up, letting each and every player know, so and so you've been selected for the Singapore national
Yep.
team?
Yep.
Are
So
you?
we will get the squad list from the head coach, whoever the head coach may be at that point in time, and then it's our duty to inform the respective clubs, whatever respective schools or even NS camps that they are in. Don't forget schools also. A lot of people watching don't realize that it was, besides like what Farehan mentioned about NS. When we were managing Young Lions, that was a totally different ball game, because you're dealing with school players who had who had their curriculum, who had their school football, and then they had to play for Young Lions. So that was another. So like what Farehan mentioned, right, correctly, these challenges, for us, these are the challenges that we will have to undergo in order for the coach to have their plan in place. They want these players. It's up. No, and on top of that, it's not only the players. Farihan, if you remember,
Yeah.
we also had to source up for fields in Singapore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we do not have fields.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So we had to scramble and call. Sometimes we had to call like Safra. We had to call at this stadium. We have
Yeah.
to we have to call a lot of places and say, oh, tomorrow where's the training pitch? We are always looking for pitches. Apart from Jalan Besar and the old Geylang field. Not that, I mean, now it's renovated, right? But during our time it was the old one.
Okay.
So field venues were also a challenge for us.
That's
I think
even
that's
in the 2010s. You guys were managing the 2010s. Even then, pitches were a challenge. And for the national team,
Yeah, I mean, national team, they usually have the priority, but we were also managing. Okay, so Ras, just to share a bit, the national team is an ad hoc appointment. So it can be Farihan at that point in time, or it can be me.
yeah.
Sometimes we rotate among each other. But our primary role was to manage. For Farihan, it was LionsXII. And for me, it was a Young Lions. That was a full-time role. And then when there were ad hoc national team appointments, like, okay, we have this friendly match, or we have this match in China or wherever, then either one of us will step up to the plate. But our daily job was to maintain this LionsXII and Young Lions on a day-to-day basis. But whenever it comes to national team, of course, national team will take precedence over the rest of the teams lah.
I think just to share a bit about Young Lions,
Yeah.
I think in 2016, after LionsXII, we were out of the Malaysian Cup, so I took over the Young Lions squad. And this is something that I want to share with you guys. I never shared with anyone before. Most of, like what I just said, most of our players are school players. So I remember there was one particular game, we have a match against Albirex Niigata at the Jurong East Stadium. Kickoff was 7:30 p.m. and players are supposed to report 90 minutes before that at 6 o'clock. Warm-up was at 7. Warm-up is about 7:10, right? It's around there. And do you know that doing the players accreditation check and doing the warm-up, I only have 6 players doing the warm-up. Six players. The bulk of the 7 players were on the train coming
Okay.
from school all the way to the
Yeah.
stadium. And I got to tell the match commissioner to say, okay, bang, these are the players that they're starting, but they're on the way from their school. They're reaching here. The moment the guys came, they didn't warm up. They just wear their jerseys, put up their socks, went into the field. And I can tell you, my heart really sank and my heart really felt for these players. These are the sacrifices that they took. I don't know. I just want to share that. I mean, people can say that, oh, we are here to support the Singapore football. But when you speak to different stakeholders, their hands are also tied to make the decisions. They say, oh, we can't leave them early because this is just a club game. This is not a national game. And the players are the one who they are not paid a big salary because they are still students. But I can openly vouch and see that they really sacrifice to come in and not to warm up just to play the game. And I just say that I mean that's how challenged we are with Singapore football, especially at this level. And I hope things are better now for it.
Okay. And as team manager, so now it's clear that Aizat, you managed the Young Lions primarily, and Farehan was Lions 12. So Lions 12, of course, we remember that they had a bit of a glorious period playing in the
Yep.
Malaysia Super League. We talk about highs and lows right now. So what were your highs and lows, your respective highs and lows managing these teams?
For me, LionsXII, when we won the FA Cup in 2015 at Bukit Jalil Stadium, we were the underdogs. Kelantan was favoured to win. I remember clearly what Coach Fandi said the night before to the players that really took all pressure away from the players. Abang Fandi said that, okay guys, as we enter the stadium and see everyone, Abang Fandi say, guys, whether you all win, whether we win or we didn't or we won't win this game, I'm already proud of you guys. Okay, just go out there, enjoy. This is how football is supposed to be. Play in front of 55,000. Just do your best. I think that really take a lot of pressure away from the team, and we won the game 3-1. We won the game 3-1, and of course, the whole of Malaysia was expecting Kelantan to win because Kelantan is a cup final team.
Yeah.
When they go to the cup final, they rarely lost a game, and we managed to win. And then 2 months after that, that was in May. Then in June, we traveled with the national team. So we went to Saitama and we drew 0-0.
Oh, okay.
So that was So that was, I find that these were the highs for the LionsXII and the national team. And I would say that why our national team did well was partly because bulk of the players for the national team were in LionsXII. So they were training week in and week out, high level of football. Fitness coach was Sasha back then, so the players was at the top of the game. So when they went over to play the World Cup qualifiers, before we went over to Japan, we were at Cambodia. We beat Cambodia 4-0. Then we came over to Saitama, Japan with a bit of confidence. And we can see that we pull out with a 0-0 scoreline. So there were the highs. And of course, the lows in football. Eventually, our national team didn't perform well, didn't get much victory. I think after Coach Ben left, I think losing out in the 2016 Suzuki Cup in Manila, where we didn't even go through past the group stages. That was, I find, it was a bit on the lowest point for us.
Okay. Yourself,
And for
Aizat? Sorry. Farian, you had something else to say. Yes.
And of course, for the LionsXII was 2015 when we got the news that we are no longer participating in that 2016. That was a bit on the low side because I think the players were concerned about their contracts, were concerned about their livelihood when it was made known to us that we are no longer participating in the Super League.
All right. Okay. Aizat, yourself?
I think same like Farehan. I mean, we were in FAS together at the point in time lah. I think
The highs
there was a
and
lot.
lows.
There was a lot of talk about LionsXII. Going back into the Malaysian Super League. There were two schools of thought. Why are we going back to the Malaysian Super League? That's one thought. The other one is, hey, you know what? We can revive back Singapore football with the interest and stuff like that. But I think all in all, it did its job lah. The interest in local football suddenly skyrocketed because of the Lions 12. Regardless of what people think or say. So I share the same sentiments. I think the FA Cup it rallied the whole country lah. People who were not watching football, they were fixated on that as well. The draw against Japan, I remember that was one of Izwan's best performance, Farehan, remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
I think that was quite iconic, lah. He was plus the team really played very very well in Japan. So and then for me the lows, there's a lot of lows lah because I'm managing young lions. Everything is quite low. So young lions, I tell you, it was really a challenge. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but it was really, really a challenge for anyone managing young lions. You can see them coming to training with NS uniforms, coming rushing from school. Some of them are on bikes. Some of them are taking cabs and trains and stuff like that. So no particular low, but I would just like to say that managing young lions or even the players themselves, if I'm a player in young lions, it's not easy. Week in, week out, you are missing training, you are playing with peers around your age, and you are against these professional teams who train twice a day with professional players and foreigners. So to not get results week in week out, it really takes a toll on the players. I personally have seen it. Players break down, don't want to continue. I and Farehan have seen our fair share of good players who do not want to continue playing football, because of the situation they were in. When you don't train, or when you train minimally with peers around your age, you're talking about 18 to maybe 21, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old amongst yourself, and then you meet teams like Tampines, you meet teams like Albirex and Brunei, and so it's not easy. Those are quite low. I remember having a lot of really down moments. Even me, who is not a technical staff, really down moments after losses, loss after loss after loss. It's really not easy for the backroom staff, the players. Yeah, so those were quite low lah. For me.
I want to bring you all back. In fact, Farehan, first, I want to bring you back to a point that you were speaking about, handling players, family members calling you to speak about a certain player,
Yeah.
off-field matters. Any examples for us of anything that you have faced and how you've dealt with it?
I think examples are a bit sensitive to disclose lah. Some of the,
Yeah,
but
maybe don't have to name the names if you don't want to, but you can just share the situation.
Player A, player A.
yeah, I think there are some players facing financial situations, marriage, domestic marriage issues. Also, so we just got to manage because at the end of the day, we want them to enter a competition or a game with a mind that is clear and not distracted. Because I think the coaches are always in a regular conversation with us to say that is this player is something troubling him? If because I see like his mind is not on the field, can you please go and talk to him? So this is what we need to do, and yeah, most of the time, that even if we need to intervene and ask management for help, we will do that. But most of the time, I think usually the coaches and me will try to help to settle it at that level.
Okay. Any sports therapist that is involved with the national team or in any of these teams?
I remember having one. I mean, we sought some assistance from at that point Sports SG, I think, for a sports psychologist, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot his name. To arrange appointments with the players. To before. I think I mean I've never experienced that during my time, but when then came in, I don't think it went like how we plan it to be, but there were attempts or efforts put in to bring in assistance. But I would like to touch on what Farehan mentioned just now, that some of these domestic issues we had, their partners calling us or even their parents calling us, whether they are playing or not. If they are not playing, the parents will call us, say, why is my son not playing? And
Mm.
some of it were also financial issues where
Yeah.
there were times like I'm not going to mention any names. There were times where some of these players like, hey, I'm schooling, but I have to play with young lions. I'm not earning big, that kind of thing. And there were times where we had to fork out own money and say, okay, you know what, this is for you, this is for you to take cab down to training and stuff like that lah. So these are some of the sacrifices I think both of us made during our time, because these are the challenges. Some of the challenges we didn't, and in fact, a lot of these challenges we didn't raise up to management lah. We try to deal and settle it at our level. Just to ensure we have a decent team or decent number of players to train to begin with lah.
In
Like
any
what
of this,
I think like sorry, like what Aizat mentioned, sports therapies. And I would say that I mean most of our players, if not every one of them, they do not have issues that you need to get a psychologist to talk to them. Because I think most of them being called up for the national team, they are highly motivated to perform. It is just that, one or two things that are bothering them. But other than that, I would say we don't really need a sports therapist lah. That's what I felt, right?
in any of these situations, you mentioned about making sacrifices and taking money out of your pocket to support the players and help them out
Mm.
to ease the burden. In any of the situations, have you been felt that you have been let down by the players? They've taken advantage of your kindness.
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, we are all like one big family. I mean, we are there for each other. We always want the best for them, and we keep a lookout for each other. There was never a point of time that we felt that this particular guy was taking advantage of the whole situation. Never, because I think Aizat will have agreed with me. I think the team was really solid. Even though at times where we were not getting results, but everyone was together, even from the backroom staff, even from the kitman to the physio to the sports science. Everyone was backing each other up.
Let's talk about the players and coaches now, your relationship with them. Coaches first, because they're probably lesser in numbers. Who are some of the coaches that you worked with in your time?
For me, of course, I work with Coach Bern, Coach Sundaram, Fandi, of course, LionsXII. Sunil was with the national team, Nazri Nasir, and also Coach Richard Bock. So these are the coaches that I work with, as well as some foreign coaches, Richard Tadi, Patrick Hesse for the Young Lions.
Okay.
And I would say among all the coaches, I think the one that I'm very closest with was, I think, with Coach Fandi. I think even when we travel overseas for both Lions and national team, we will tend to share the same room together. I think Coach Fandi will say that because I'm scared alone, so that's why he have to come in together. But I think Coach Fandi, I will say that I've heard him giving team talks every now and then. But every time he give a team talk, I tell you, you have goosebumps, man. Even though you have heard it the last week, the next game, but I mean, that just shows why he's a legend. Yeah.
And yourself, Aizat? Same any difference?
Almost same. Some of these coaches overlap, but mine, since I started slightly earlier, I had my experience with Radi. National coaches are Radi, Coach Bern, and then Coach ID for Young Lions, ID Skandar, Coach Mani, Coach Mike Wong. For under 22 tournament in Pekanbaru, I think back in 2012. And the rest, what like Farehan mentioned, Coach Fandi, Coach Saswa Di Mata. So I mean, me and Farehan, we work with all these coaches. It's just that in
Yeah.
different capacities, because all of us were in FAS. Yeah. So Coach Radi, Coach Burn, I mean, each and every of these coach, they have their own style. Coach Radi
Yeah.
was just a workaholic. You know, he would analyze and analyze and analyze. He wouldn't sleep, fall sick, that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah,
so
okay.
he's very different from Burn. Burn is a bit more, bit more laid back. You know, leave it to the players, that kind of thing. You know, because Coach Burn, you know, I think he used to coach in Belarus, you know, where there was an Alexander Kleb, you know, that kind of thing. So he was that kind of European kind of coach. But Coach Hadi, he really studied all his opponents before the game and stuff like that. All in all, I think I had a good experience working with all these coaches lah. Yeah, some of the coaches stand out lah. Like Coach Fandi, until today, we are quite close to him, both of us. He stands out as somebody who is not just because he is a legend and did what he did for Singapore football, but I think personally, as a coach and as a friend, as a mentor to both of us, I think he's someone that we can look up to not only for football lah. You know, he still hangs out with us. You know, we just met him like yesterday, 2 days back. You know, and he's still very humble. You know, he gives us a lot of advice. So he's one of the closer ones lah that we have. Also, I've during my time at Geylang International, I had the opportunity to work with Mat Noali, Hasrin Jalani, you know, Samawira, Dalis. So these are the coaches who also were quite stand out for me lah. They were quite stand out coaches lah.
Okay. This we're talking about coaches now. I believe from the way you both are speaking about the coaches, I believe you did not have a falling out or did not get along with any of the coaches. I guess you got along with every one of them. Correct me if I'm wrong. And also in this point, Aizat is laughing. That means there's something in there. So tell me.
Fishing.
Pardon?
Are you fishing from us or what?
Yeah, sure. It is.
Look,
I'm trying
looks
to
like
see if
somebody
there's
is,
anything saucy.
looks like somebody is biting the bait already, yeah? Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah? Yeah. I'm still swimming, but somebody's already bitten the bait. Yeah?
We are all, at the end of the days, we are all colleagues. You know, it's like the same demographics where you have in an office or in any work setting. You know, we work well with some. You know, we don't work that well with some. We have same like, you know, colleagues in an office setting. You know, where you have closer ones. But when you talk about falling out, I don't think so. There is any particular incident or instant where there is a fallout until, you know, we don't talk. No. It's just that we even with Farehan, sometimes I don't talk to him. Because, but it's all work. It's all work.
Yeah.
You know, we get paid to do a job. And when we have any misunderstandings or disagreements, it's just all about work. And football, as we know, is quite an emotional atmosphere or environment, whether it's on and off the pitch lah. You know, it can get quite emotional. You can argue and disagree with the coaches, not only with the coaches, even with the players. And even with me and Farehan also, we had our own disagreements and you know and silent treatments lah. You know, but it's all about the job lah. We are there to do something for Singapore football, and I believe both of us did what we had to do to our best of ability lah. You know, it might not be the best to others, but you know, we tried our best lah.
Okay.
I think there are a lot
sorry,
of...
Farehan, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me cut you here. Because after very diplomatically answering that question, Aizat, do you want to name names
Of who?
of managers that you had a bit of a difficult time working with? Coaches, yeah, we have a difficult time working with or didn't get along.
I would say that I would go the other end. Who I was very comfortable with lah. I was very okay. Obviously, sorry.
Fandi. You already mentioned Fandi.
Yeah, Fandi is one. Definitely, Fandi is one. Coach Mani is another one, which I'm very comfortable with. Even though I've not heard from him for quite some time. Coach Saswa is another one. And then when I went to Geylang International, Coach Noali and Coach Asrin, until today we are still quite close. We still meet. So these are the coaches that I work very well with, lah. You know,
Okay.
So I
Farehan.
think you know who lah.
Yeah, yeah. Then from there you can see. All right.
Oh, Farehan, how about yourself, Farehan? No, I will ask you. How about you?
Okay.
Which of those coaches that you probably wouldn't want to work with again?
Okay. I won't say.
Oh, now
Okay.
you won't say, ah?
No. I will say. Okay. I will say that. I work fine with almost every of the coaches. Okay, I will work fine with almost every of the coaches because all these coaches are given a different set of KPIs, so they come in with different set of pressure. I mean, I will say that sometimes Coach Fandi is also been put in a lot of pressure. I've seen Fandi in the good side and also Fandi in the bad side. He can really make a particular player cry like a baby. I've seen
Mm.
that. Okay, I've seen that. On the other side also, Coach Sudham, a good coach, but he is super cautious in his tactics and everything he's do. So at times it felt a bit challenge trying to manage him.
Mm.
Okay, but I would say the foreign coaches they are more laid back. I would say it was easier to manage all these foreign coaches. Richard Tardy, Burns, Gangs, Patrick Hesse, it was a bit more easier. But I can understand why the locals are feel a bit more pressure because they are born and bred here and they are our former players. And
And not just players,
results
I guess
matters.
legends as well.
Legends as well, and results really matters.
Mm.
Whereas I'm not sure about these foreign coaches. Yes, I will say that they are dedicated and committed. But at the end of the day, they will just take a plane and fly back to their homeland.
Mm.
Right?
Okay.
So it's different. I would say openly, I think the coaches are fine, but challenges, the politics is crazy because as you know, team manager is only there is one particular position in the whole of the association that
Mm.
people see you that you're able to travel out with the players,
Mm.
and you have a lot of politics flying around, people trying to kill you off, all these things. I mean, I think Isaac during our time there was a particular FS personnel who was going around trying to kill people off. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sending all these, I don't know, all these poison letters, emails and stuff all. The
No.
the funny part is that for one particular email, you will CC 5 or 6 people. Right? 5 or 6 people just to get a simple message across. But then I understand that's how office culture is. But I
Okay.
would say that apart from this, it's always a happy time working with the players as well. I always feel that whatever decisions that are made for the management, it must goes down to the 11 people that are fighting for you on the field.
Mm.
If you don't see changes, whatever the changes that you guys are implementing doesn't goes out to the field, then we are not doing anything.
Mm.
If you ask me, do the players really work their way out? I would say in training, 100%. If not 100%, it's 110 or 120%. Everyone really come together. But of course, results, nobody can control that part.
Okay.
Farian,
Yeah,
Ras, hold on. Farian,
yeah.
well done. You didn't answer the question. You brought us one way around.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
of course.
but I think people can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot one more coach, Farihan. We, we,
Yeah.
we work with him and he is a fantastic coach. I forgot about Coach Nazri.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Nazi is.
Yeah, Coach Nazri, he is a
Yeah.
very, when it comes to football, you will rarely see this level of passion. Whether he is
Yes.
playing a friendly veterans match or whether he is on the sidelines coaching, you
Mm.
rarely see this kind of passion when you see in Nazri.
And
Yeah,
Nazi, like you say, is a simple coach who get his tactics to you easily.
yeah,
He may not be the most decorated guy who have a lot of presentations to say this how the tactic
yeah,
is. But when
correct.
he tell you this is how he want the team to play, everyone
It's effective.
understand, get the message and get the memo and go out the field and they get the results. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like I
correct,
say.
correct.
I mean, different coaches they have their different ways of delivering things. So for Fandi to Sundram to Nazri to Richard Bock, And I would say for Coach Richard Bock, uh, if he were to go to the changing room, he will fill up the whole of the whiteboard. He will fill up the
Yeah.
whole whiteboard. That is his tactic. And sometimes you feel like, alamak, you cannot even erase anything from here.
Okay.
That's Coach Richard Bock. Coach Sundo will spend hours and hours and days with the video analysis, analyzing the opponent very carefully. Coach Sundo will do that. Coach Fandi will do that. And the other coaches, I would say Coach Sundo and Coach Fandi really do a lot of homework to prepare the teams. Yeah, until sometimes I will question that, hey, you guys maybe need to relax a bit. But who am I to say that? Because they are the legends of the game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
and we just give them the necessary support. Be like Coach Sundo say, Fan, I need another video analysis. I remembered when we were in Manila, okay, he wants to project something from his laptop. So he didn't have the adapter. I got to quickly run across the hotel, go to all these malls in Manila just to get a small adapter, just for him to be able to show project his that one. And he gets really tense if things are not going his way.
Okay.
And we don't want that to happen. So we got to ensure that everything is working. And the best part was, I remember that clearly when I came back with that adapter, it didn't work because that wasn't an original adapter. So we need to buy an original adapter. So need to go back again and get it for it to be done.
The troubles you have to go through.
The troubles and the funny part was that I just want to share something lighthearted. So we wanted. So after the tournament, after every matches, we need to do ice bath. Okay. So we asked our liaison officer, okay, can you get for us a big basin for us to do the ice bath? Okay, fine. We'll get it done for you. Okay. So before we left for the stadium, so I asked him, so where's the basin to do the ice bath? So he showed us that he only buy 4 basins. But the size of that 4 basin is no bigger than a pail. Okay. I remember Kak Fiza was telling me, Han, how are we going to do the ice bath in this pail? When I see that, I also didn't know. I didn't know what to do. So sometimes, as team manager, you need to take your initiative. I remember I ran to the department store opposite. I went to the toy section. There are inflatable pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I saw, those 2 big inflatable pool. I just said, okay, never mind. I just going to buy these 2 inflatable pool with the electric pump, bring it over to the stadium, and that is at least a proper pool that at least 4 or 5 people can sit down at one time.
Yes.
Against that just normal pail that they buy, right, for us. So these are the things that you just got to think off your head and not to panic. I think Aizat will agree to me. If there's one person that should not panic in any situation, I think it's the team manager and the delegation. I think Aizat also will have stories to share. I think in China, when all the passports, right, the excess baggage, I think Aizat can share it later on.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna go to funny stories now. So tell me, Aizat.
Yeah.
I think one that I can remember, a short one, was, I think it was the flight on China Eastern from, I think, Hong Kong to Tianjin, if I'm not mistaken. Hong Kong to Tianjin. So we had to check out all our luggage because it was a different flight, and then re-check in onto a China Eastern flight to Tianjin. But then after we checked in, group check-in at the airport, over the counter, they mentioned that it was, I don't know how many hundreds of kilos excess.
Wow.
Yes, hundreds of kilos. That amounted to an exorbitant amount. And then they only accepted cash. And my cash was in the wrong currency. And then the flight was already, we were already very late. So what I did was, I asked the place to check in first, and I couldn't get my passport until I settled the payment. And then, as team managers, we have a cash float with us. So they didn't accept the currency. I forgot what currency it was. And then when I wanted to exchange the currency, the money changers were all closed.
Oh dear.
So what I did was, I think there was a goalkeeper coach back then, I think Lee Bising. Yeah, Bising. So because I didn't speak any Chinese or Mandarin, so I said, Bising, you got to follow me. So we had to go to another terminal. Like we literally ran to another terminal,
Mm.
find a money changer, converted the currency that I had, ran back, paid for it, took our passports, and then run when the aero bridge was about to close. I was that close to missing the flight. And then when I entered the flight, we were panting, we were sweating. But once we entered, the place all clapped like I think they won a match or something. So that was a close shift.
Okay.
Like what Farehan said,
That sounds like an amazing race.
oh, amazing race!
Oh,
Definitely,
oh,
I was already panicking. I was prepared for the team to fly off without me, and I
Oh,
was prepared to. I was already mentally, trying to arrange things. Okay, let the planes fly first. I will come later. I will stay in a hotel first. That kind of thing. But like what Farihan pointed out just now, the last person who should panic is the team manager. There are times where players just come with their passport and their luggage, and then they meet. Okay, guys, we meet at Changi Airport at this terminal at this row at this time, and they have no idea what's happening. So they just come. They know what to wear. They bring their passport. They bring their luggage. They come to the airport, and then they know that they're going here, but how they're going there, transit where, probably they do not know.
yeah.
So we as team managers, we have to check in the team with the X number of passports, the X number of luggages, plus the personal luggage, plus your equipment, and then you have to settle the excess baggage, and then you have to bring the team together and brief them. Hey guys, this is where we're going to go on this day. On this day, we're going to transit here, and then we're going to land here. We're going to play this game, and then we'll come back on this date so that you can tell your families. So the last person who should panic and have a clear mind, regardless of what's happening, is a team manager. Even the coaches will be looking to you, say, "Hey, what now? We have missed flights. We have liaison officer buses that don't come, that come late. We have. I have been stuck at customs where the customs ask for a little something something before they can release us,
oh my God.
something like that. So you just have to think on your feet and go with it. You cannot, no matter what. In other words, the show must go on lah.
Uh, which
I,
country
I
is
think
that? I was asking something, something.
Nearby, nearby, very nearby.
Okay. I knew it.
for me, I want to
All right.
share one. For me, I want to share one story. I think it was traveling with the national team in 2017. So we went to Turkmenistan. Okay, as you all know, Turkmenistan is a country that is a close country like North Korea.
Mm.
Okay, so our flight took a transit in Turkey, and before that, we need to send passports to by the team manager in Turkmenistan for them to do visas. And
Mm.
he clearly warned me that look, visas is a big issue here in the country. He clearly told me that. So he
Mm.
asked me to send in all the passport copies. Okay. So after submitting the passport copy, when we travel, suddenly I remember Sharil Isha. Sharil told me that, okay, fine, I changed a new passport. When I submitted his old passport for the
Alamak.
visa clearance, so I was like, okay, Sharil, let's see what we can do. Okay. But for me, I always make it a habit that I always keep a copy of the old passport copies with me as well,
Oh.
even if they bring the new passport.
Uh,
So we took the flight. Even when we want to go Ashgabat, when we're clearing the Turkey Istanbul immigration, the immigration clearly asked me, what are you doing in Ashgabat? Why you go Ashgabat for? I said, oh, we are going there for football. I said, oh, no, nothing there. He said that, okay, fine. So the moment we touched down in Ashgabat Turkmenistan Airport, such a majestic airport. Okay, it was about 5 a.m. So I was already with Shariel. I was with Shariel. I prepared to stay with you until maybe they start working about 9 a.m. Then we start trying to ask to do the reapplication of the visas. Then I asked my another friend Faizul. So I said, Faizul, you just bring the whole team to the to the hotel to do all the check-in, and I'll come in later.
mm.
So we have everything planned. Because when I was in Istanbul, when I was talking to the to the Turkmenistan team manager, I was saying that, hey, my player changed passport. Then he was saying, oh, it's going to be a big problem. Big problem. Then I was like, okay, fine. So the moment we touched down, I collected all the passport and they have this visa counter.
Mm.
So the two guys there at the visa counter, they happen to be a bit friendly. But of course, when you know you do a bit of mistake, when you approach them, you ask, hey sir, how are you? You know, you try to be friendly with them. They
Yeah.
say, what you guys doing? Oh, you're playing football. So you love football, you're watching football. They say, yeah, okay, okay. Then the moment he opened Shagil's passport, he put it to the side already.
Okay.
Okay. Then I was like, okay, let's wait. Then he cleared all the other passport. Then when he see Shagil passport, he say, this one, they say, oh, this one because he do new passport. Okay, he put it aside. Then he went to search. Then he saw Izwan Mahmud passport. Then he showed me this also new passport. Then I was like, oh my god, this player didn't even inform me, right?
Okay.
Okay, then I was like, okay, then how is it? Then afterward, they start clearing all the others. Then they took Sharil and Izwan passport. They open it up. Then I told them, look, this is the old copy. Then they say, okay, no problem, everything is fine. Then they stamp, issue the visa on arrival and give it to us. Well, that was a sigh of relief because when we touched down there, even the team that bring all the Gatorade powder, you were all confiscated and not allowed to pass through. You have to be kept at the airport because these are controlled items to people in Turkmenistan. I remember the first thing I went out, I met the Turkmenistan team manager. The first question he asked, everyone is here? No one got stuck up there? No one left behind? I said, no, everyone is here except all our Gatorade powder. So that was the experience, you know, that we have to, you know, think through it. Then I remember when we went over to Iran in 2016, when I bring a lot of money because we are not allowed to do any bank transfer for our hotels in Iran. So I remember I bought about 30,000 US dollars cash, but I got to give 10,000 to all my coaches to hold each, and I hold 10,000 each. So I think these are the traveling parts that I think team managers got to take responsibilities. And like what Aizat say, I think from point A to point B, we need to brief the people. At the moment you reach at this airport for transit, remember guys, you only have 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour to go. Like when we went to, when we went to Turkmenistan, we had a 9 hours transit in Istanbul airport. So I know that some of the players say, oh, they want to go out, they want to go out. And you know what I told them? Guys, you are not allowed to go out anywhere. And I just want to see you at the departing terminal. But I know some of them went out eventually. Because when we are lining up at the boarding terminal, they were like, I remember Fazrul, he was like, hey, you see the mosque nice, huh? Then I turned around and say, what mosque? Then they say, oh, actually we went out. I say, oh my God, I tell you, if something happened to you, I'm answerable, the whole thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it is, you know. As long as they are there, they are okay. But we as a team manager, we just got to ensure that, you know, things are done correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about players. Let's talk about any player that is a particular prankster. Like, remember any funny stories regarding any pranks played in the dressing room or in a hotel or somewhere else?
I think not player is Fandi, man. Fandi is the prankster.
Andy's the prankster. Okay.
Oh my God. I think I thought you want to share what he did in Austria. Fandi is a prankster.
But yeah, Fandi, I think. Wow, I tell you, I don't think. I mean, amongst the players lah, maybe you know, players and players. But
Yeah.
for us, it was more of Abang Fandi. He always got something up his sleeve. He's always up to something, man.
Hmm.
So I remembered we were in Austria 2014, Anna. 20,
Yeah, 2014.
2014, I think that was during fasting month, you know. So in Austria, fasting month, I think it was summer, so it was a long day, short night kind of situation. So we fasted around from 2 something a.m. or 3 something a.m. and we broke fast at about close to 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think we started fasting lah. I don't know whether we ended the fasting. So anyways, during that trip, it was one of the biggest contingents that we traveled together. It was the under 23 national team with the national team. So plus the backroom staff, coaches and all, I think it was about 70 plus people.
Yeah.
But that particular instant, I think Farehan is referring to is we were all housed in this resort.
Ski resort.
It's a ski resort, but since it's summer, it was converted into a resort for footballers and teams that came over, and there was a field nearby, so we were all given bicycles. So every time we wanted to train, we will cycle from the resort to the pitch. I think it was about 10 minutes 10 minutes ride, but on the other end of the road
Turkish restaurant.
Yeah, we discovered there was a Turkish restaurant.
Mm.
So I think one evening, right after we broke fast, we just wanted to have some light snack. So Fandi told me, "Hey, Zat, come, let's go lah. Let's have some food at the Turkish restaurant." In fact, we broke fast already. So it was me, Fandi, I think Coach Mani, one of the sports Masus Banzi, and also I think one of our logistics officer. Is it?
Cuma,
Cik Omar.
cuma.
So five of us walked to the Turkish restaurant. So while we were eating, Farehan came. Farehan, Baihaki, uh,
Amri, Zulfami,
Amri,
Saiful,
Zulfami,
Saiful,
and Shaiful Issa.
Saiful. Yeah.
But they came when me and Fandi and Mani all we walked. We walked about 15-20 minutes. Farihan and the four players came on bicycles.
Okay.
So we say, hey, hi, hi, hi. We ate and stuff like that. We sat separately. So after we are done, okay, I say we wanted to go off. And then when we exited the restaurant, Fandi went like, hey, one, two, three, four, five bicycles. Then he looked at our group. Then he said, hey, one, two, three, four, five guys. I say, okay lah. Fandi say, hey, come on, let's just take it and let's go lah. Then I told him, I say, bang, this one later Farihan Farihan will get pissed with us. Then he said, to hell lah. So we took the bicycle. And then we went back to the hotel. We were and that was World Cup period, 2014.
Mm.
World Cup period. We were all in the room watching World Cup, one of the matches. And then we got a message from Farihan in the chat group. I say, who stole the bicycles from the restaurant? It isn't funny, So I told Fandi, hey, Bang, Farihan is quite angry now. He said some stuff that I can't say here lah. He said to hell lah. And Farihan really got pissed. But it was just such a funny moment. And then I think Farihan didn't speak to us. He gave us a cold treatment for the next 2 days, I think.
Including to Fandi as well. The cold treatment.
Yeah. He knew exactly who took it, But he just didn't want to do it directly, He put it inside the chat group. Then Fandi said, just ignore him, to hell with him.
But it was funny because after they left, then we were eating. Then I remember Zulfami went out. Then Zulfami came back inside and said, hey guys, the bicycles are missing. Then I was like, huh? Whose bicycle missing? All of us. I said, what? 5 gone? Then who would take that? I knew they took it. Who else would have taken it? I knew these guys took it. But they just refused to admit. They could have just say, okay guys, sorry, we took our bicycle. And we got to walk down for half an hour all the way back. It wasn't funny at all when I was like cursing and swearing and damn.
Well, you
Yeah, that
could
was
say that whatever you ate, you burned it off in that.
Yeah. But it's funny. It's funny. I mean, like Fandi, he's a prankster. I remember there was one incident in Hong Kong. My room was beside his room at Sundaram room. So there was one time after breakfast, I came back up to find him. So he also went. So he actually hid inside my room, inside my cupboard. So he heard I was calling. The moment I entered the room, he had a blanket cover him and he just shocked me. And the best part was he actually recorded the whole incident. I mean, that's about Fandi. I mean, like he will tend to. Then the best part, we have this sports trainer Banzi. Okay, so until today, I don't know when is Banzi's exact birthday because we will celebrate his birthday at any point of time, even on the plane. On the flight, Fandi will get the chief steward to announce, okay guys, we fly with the Singapore national team and also we want to share this occasion. It's the birthday for Mr. Banzi. It isn't his birthday. Everyone on the plane sang a birthday song for him. It isn't his birthday at all. We even came to the hotel. Fandi tell the staff, hey, this guy, birthday. The staff suddenly came with a huge cake with a candle. Everybody just shocked. But this Bandi will just play around. Okay, yes, thank you so much, guys. It's my birthday. Thank you so much. I tell you, I think that's how it is. I think we also don't know when is this Bandi birthday. So many birthday cakes we get.
I got one story to share. I think this one is with the players, a short one. We were in Pekan Baru in 2012. So at that point in time, the 92 batch were quite young So it was me and another one of our colleagues. Farehan, how come you're frozen? Farehan?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Hello?
I'm okay. I think
Ah,
you're
okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
So we
okay.
were in the
One
hotel.
moment.
I was doing work in my room with one of my colleagues, Wisakan. And then suddenly we heard like, like,
Now you are frozen.
Yeah,
Suddenly
yeah,
he
that's
heard
right.
something.
He's
He went missing. So I mean, before while
yeah.
we
I
wait
think
for him
something
to
is
come back, let me ask you, Farihan.
yeah.
We talk about funny stories.
Mm,
Let him come back with his funny
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Any player that is particularly superstitious?
I think superstitious. I would say.
hello?
Yes.
Yes, Aizat, you're back.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So where was I? Where was I?
You haven't started
The,
your story yet.
we just said the 1992. You and Visakan. You know.
Oh, okay.
Pekan Baru.
Yeah.
So we were in Pekanbaru. I think it was Hotel Pangeran or something. So we were all staying in the same level, a couple of players' rooms, and I was doing work at night. And this was late night, I think beyond 12. And then suddenly I heard there was loud music playing, like duk, 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 like that. So I was like, is there a club here? Not that I know of. So I went out of my room, then I put my ears one by one because I have the rooming list. So I look at this room. Okay, the music is not coming from here until I got to this room, and the music was quite loud. so, so I look at Visakan, our colleague, right? I said, Visakan, what do you do? Come, I said, let's knock on it lah.
Mm.
Suddenly, within a split second of me knocking, the music just stopped. Then I hear a lot of scurrying and a lot of movement inside the room.
Mm.
I said, hey, what's happening? I said, knock, 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 knock. Until one player opened. I think it was Kasimi or something. It was Kasimi or Fahan Rahmat or
Rahmat.
Faris Ramli. Was it Fahan Rahmat?
You told me Farah Rahmat. Yeah.
Oh, Fahan Rahmat. It was Fahan Rahmat. So when he opened, he did this. Yes. Yes, I said, what is it? So I entered the room and me and Visakan entered the room. So we look, wow, this room quite clean. How come there was music just now, right? So I knew exactly what was happening. So I told them, I give you guys 5 seconds for all of you guys to come out. So I got 1, 2, 3. And I think it was 12 or 14 players inside the room.
How big is
They
the room?
came out from behind the curtains, inside the toilet, inside the bathtub, under the bed, behind the bed, all of them came out looking very guilty. Then they were like, they must be thinking, oh damn, we were caught now.
Yeah.
So I look at them, then I think they thought that they would get into trouble lah. I say, if you guys want to do this kind of thing, also be smart about it lah. I think now is what time already. Luckily the next day it wasn't match day lah. So that was quite funny. They pretended to be sleeping and stuff like that, right? But they took about like 1-2 minutes just to reorder the room. So that was quite funny. I think some of the players might still remember this incident.
Mm. And I was, while you were away, I was asking Farihan about any player that was particularly superstitious.
Superstitious, not that I remember of. Superstition, no. Maybe Farian, I don't know. I cannot remember of any.
I think okay. Like for me, superstitious. I would say they have their routine in the changing room.
Own habits.
Okay. Yeah, old habits. Like I know. For example, Izwan, he will tend to hit the boot on the floor, loudly. Doing just before they go out, just before he wear his boots, so he will knock. Then Madu at the changing room, he will shout. There's something at the changing room. Then there are also players that will want to be the last one out of the dressing room. So if that particularly, I think Faris Ramli and Zulfami are always want to be the last one. So if this guy are the last one, then you know that there's no one left already in the changing room. So they're always, I mean, superstitious, not much, but I would say they have their preference, their
Rituals.
routine.
Okay.
Their routine, their practices. So
Yeah. So in this case, if the both players want to be the last one out, are they then battling to be the last one out?
No.
How would they decide who's the last one out then?
They are okay. They are okay. Like he's the last or he's the second last. They're okay. Yeah, they're okay with that. Yeah.
Right.
But for us, we were always like, because the moment when they inside the changing room after the coach gives the talk, then they say the Majula. And for us team managers, they need to be at the tunnel in a certain time. So
Mm.
we are always changing. We are always chasing this place because the place will go to the toilet lah, fix their hair lah, slowly take this lah, slowly take that lah. Then we will be the nervous one. Say, guys, come on, guys, we need to be at the tunnel. You know, if not, we'll be fined $3,000 just
Oh,
because of not appearing there. Yeah, yeah, that's how strict they are with the countdown lah. Yeah, so I
okay.
mean, we have
Especially FIFA tournaments lah or AFC
yes.
tournaments. You are late by 10 seconds, they will find you.
Wow.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah,
Really
so
strict
sometimes
decision.
if like our team are there at the tunnel first before the opponent, that's how the players say, hey, they haven't even come, we're here. Then I was like, it's okay, at least I know you all won't get fined, you know.
So if the team gets fined, who bears the cost? Is it the FA
No, I
or
think
the players?
the FA bear the cost, but we will be team managers will be questioned. We will need to write a report to say
We
how
will
come
be accountable because that's our
accountable. Yeah,
responsibility.
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay,
Mm.
okay. What was the bond like between the players? Because I believe in your time in the national team, there will be local players, will have the naturalized players as well in the
Mm-hmm.
team. And in this period of time, also, I believe you had your ups and downs as a national team. So, what was the bond like? Was there a particular time where it was very strong, and then a particular time where it was a bit disunited in the dressing room?
I think the message of the national team, it's always changing. So I remember when I first took the national team back in 2012, Chuli was still around, Daniel Bennett was still around. And these are the senior players. And then you have the up and coming newer ones like Delwinder, like Iqbal, and then later on you have the Adam Swandis and all. So there was always a time where there will always be experienced senior players, and there'll be always new players who will be blooded in lah, by the head coach. But we have seen our fair share of friendly hazing, like, hey, the senior players, they will throw their weight a bit lah. They will ask you, hey, you carry this, carry that, you help the kid man to carry this. But that is, to me, that's part and parcel of, getting into the national team. It's a way of the
Initiation.
more. Yes, it's a way of the senior players saying that, hey, you're not gonna just walk into the team, and then take our place, that kind of thing. You have to work for it. So whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch, but on the pitch, I can tell you 110%. These experienced senior players, they will always protect the younger ones, especially when we are on overseas assignments.
Mm.
So the bond between the players, I think there are some quieter ones who like to keep it to themselves. Keep to themselves off the pitch. I think that is just the way they are. They like to be undisturbed outside of training. And then obviously there are some cliques, the rowdy ones, in the hotel they are rowdy, in the bus they are rowdy, on the pitch they are rowdy, playful. But these are the kind of demographics that we have in the national team. So these are various characters and interesting personalities that we have to deal with lah. But all in all, I think the bond, once you come into the national team, there's only one aim and one motive in mind, which is to play and to win. Regardless of age, regardless of your race. So it was quite clear that we they were all on the same page. We were all on the same page. Yeah.
Okay. Farihan, a question for you. With regards to naturalized players, was there ever an issue that you felt that, this guy maybe does not have the sense of belonging, or you feel there is a bit of work you all need to do with him to ensure there is a sense of belonging to the country? That kind of a feeling you got of any of the naturalized players?
I don't think there was ever an issue because even if there was a player that want to be naturalized, he would have already been here for a long period of time before he's been invited to the national team. Unlike countries in this region where you see that the players will just receive the citizenship just because of the parents. They have links with their heritage, the heritage link that they're brought into the team. I think for Singapore context, I think most of the players has already been here and they already been playing together. So I don't see that an issue. In fact, during my time in 2016, where Mustafiq and Daniel Bennett was invited back to the national team, I see them as the younger boys look at them as a senior players and they give them respect and they are just treated like like a fellow Singaporean. I never, even as a team manager, I never felt that they were not one of us or
Okay.
they were foreigners. Yeah.
Okay, now I got a question from someone who's given me this question to one of you. I will ask this to Aizat first. So his question is, ask them about how the standard of football has changed over the years.
Standard of football locally, you mean,
Yeah,
is in our local context.
yeah.
I'll say this much, and I've always maintained this stand that Singapore has a lot of talented footballers. There's a lot of talented footballers out there who, number one, probably is not discovered at a young age. Number two, probably they do not want to pursue football as a career.
Mhm.
So if you talk about in terms of in general the standard of football, we have seen ups and downs lah. During our time we had some highs and we had a period where the national team wasn't performing, but we always see talented players, and but because of challenges along the way, whether it's financial, whether it's an environment, whether it's your circle of friends, some of them, and we have seen our fair share of players who have just dropped out and not wanting to play football. And fast forward to today, the new batch of players, especially those in the national team, these younger ones, I think they are very, very talented, and also they are very. We can see their commitment to the game, and and how to say this. We have seen our share of ups and downs of football. I think the comparison between our time and now, there's not much to compare. It's just that styles of football under different coaches, they differ, and it's whether the interest of football in Singapore among Singaporeans and among residents here, whether we want to watch and support and give our attention to these boys playing football.
Okay. The second part of the question, now this is for you, Farehan,
Mhm.
is that how much better was it before in your time compared to now?
How much better was it before in my time? Okay, I would say in my time in 2015, I would say involvement of the bulk of the national team players in the Malaysia Super League helped the players in terms of physically and mentally. They were sharper because they were training. It was almost like a national team training almost every week. Almost every week they are trained under the best fitness coach, like I say Sasha was there. They play a good level of football, travel over to Malaysia, so that helps to bring them physically and mentally good, better. But I would say if in today context, yes, of course, I can see that at least the league is getting stronger, especially this season where you see more foreigners coming into the league. Yes, I think people will question that. Well, that takes sports from the local players, but I think it just have to push our local players to be a bit more on their toes and to show that they deserve the starting place as well. So if you're asking me football in 2015 and now in 2025, I would say that uh, in between 2015 and 2025, we lost one generation of football because I would say the players that featured in the SEA Games in 2015, I think almost half of the team are supposed to be playing football for the national team today, but they're no longer there. Names like Sheikh Abdul Hadi, Al Kasimi, Stanley. I think these are the players that were the starters in 2015 SEA Games, but they're not playing football anymore. That is where, and nowadays upcoming like people like Jacob Mahler, Raihan Stewart, Harry Stewart, but these are the players that started a bit later, but you just have to give them about 1 or 2 more years before they're ready to take over the current senior players in the national team.
Okay.
Because I would say that even players like Harris, he's at what, 34? Harris at
Yeah.
34, but
35.
35. But I mean, to all the other national teams, 35 is you're past your prime. But our national team still need players like Harris, still
Mm.
need players like Faris Ramli who are in his 30s, right?
Mm.
Izwan, our goalkeeper, he's also in his 30s, right?
Tough one.
So
Yeah.
we Safwan in the 30s. So thank you so much to these senior players who have carried the weight of the national team for almost 15 years. Are we ready yet? I doubt so. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And also one thing I've been wondering as well, because the period of time you mentioned, like roughly between 2010 to 2017.
Mm.
So in
Mm.
this period of time, the Singapore did win the AFF for the
Yep. Yep.
one last time. Since
Mm.
then, you've been on a drought. 2012. So were you guys involved at that time?
I think 2012 I wasn't involved yet, but I think Isaac was involved. But I think we have to acknowledge that our region, our neighboring countries are trying to improve. They are improving in their football, especially you see Indonesia, you see Malaysia, that you almost, I mean, there's a lot of naturalization processes that take place. And
Mm.
even at their youth level, they are really going up high in the international stage. I mean, they are even overtaking teams like Thailand. Now, I can say that even if Malaysia and Indonesia were to play Thailand, you can't say that who's going to win. So, I mean, yes, we have seen the news like people like they're trying to get the Cardiff, the Perry Ng guys in, but we will need a few more players to be in, right, before we can eventually match the standards of Indonesia and Malaysia.
And Aizat, in your time also, were you around when the LionsXII won the Malaysia League?
Yes,
Yeah,
2013, I think
Under
it was.
yeah.
yeah, I was. But Farehan was leading that. I was
Okay.
busy with the young lions. I mean, domestically, Farihan
Yeah.
was the one traveling week in week out, lah. So he
Mm.
was the one with Lions Chef. But obviously, we were all in the same fraternity, right?
Yeah.
So we were watching very very closely. I mean, the young lions were younger, lah.
Mm.
Some of the young lions players, managed to break into the Lions 12 team, whether on the bench or whether they are starting.
Mm.
But we were following very, very closely, and we were ecstatic as well when we won in the league in 2013.
Okay. And what did that mean to you, Farehan, winning that Malaysia League in that year?
I think winning the Malaysia League and the following 2 years, winning the
FA Cup.
Malaysia FA Cup, I think it bring a lot of boost to the country. Especially, you can see fans started coming back to the stadium. You see the younger fans coming back. It gives them a big sense of belief that they have a future in Singapore, a future in football with all this achievement that we all get. Because in 2012 we won the AFF Suzuki Cup, 2013 we won the Malaysian Super League, 2015 we won the Malaysia FA Cup. So it was quite a good years for Singapore football. But of course, people on the other side will say that the local S League suffer during that time when we joined the LionsXII when the LionsXII project was there. But the players, I remember the players from the S League, as I said, they were motivated to do well in the S League because they want to play for the LionsXII.
Mm.
So they had something to look forward to.
Sure.
But of course, in today's context, players wants to do well because they want to be able to play in the better club in the league and they want to play in the ACL.
Mm.
So players must always have a benchmark that they want to look ahead to achieve that. Yeah, so that's very important for us to set up that culture.
All right. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for sharing all your memories and stories. It's been really comprehensive, and I think we've fully understood the role that you guys have played with the national team, and sharing very generously as well all the stories, even some that tried digging out of you. You don't want to mention names, but very diplomatic. I think that's part of the role as well. I was a team manager, but still we could read behind between the lines in some instances. And but still, jokes aside, I think this was a very good conversation. I hope you had a good time speaking to me as well, and for the listeners and viewers as well. Before I go, I always ask this of my guests: who would you like us to interview next?
Oh, Farehan was.
You first lah. I think you should get I think legends of the game. Maybe you should get people like how about our Kidman? I would say no more on the bedroom stuff, because if you ask our Kidman Cik Omar, but I doubt he will wants to come on board because our Kidman has been around many coaches. From Radi time to Burns time. I mean, he knows everything well. But I think it would be nice to feature some of our bedroom stuff, even our physio, Kak Fiza, Yeah, something different to hear from her. Because I would say that Kak Fiza is very close to all the players. So she's like the big sister to all the players.
Okay.
In fact, sometimes we need to hear from Kak Fiza if you need to know something about the players.
All right. I think that's quite an interesting shout out, Normally people mention other players, but yeah, that's quite an interesting shout out. I don't mind. Link me up with her and we can have an episode with her.
Ras, have you interviewed Noali?
Yeah, I have.
You have, because he's quite a character.
Yeah, he's very interesting stories he did share with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any name that stands out, but I agree, Farihan. Probably the inner workings of a football team. You might want to interview some of these personnel who knows the behind the scenes kind of stuff that is required to run the national team and how they handle the players and stuff like that.
All right, Ken. So for now, it's Kak Fiza and link me up with her. I think
Sure, no problem.
Hopefully she agrees first of all, and then we'll have a fascinating episode lined up. All right, so this is me, Ras, signing out. Aizat.
Thank you, Ras. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
My pleasure. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you. Bye.